Darce chokes, one of my favorite chokes, 2.0, new and updated. Let's have a look at a complete guide to this amazing choke so you can start using it in your game. Hey guys, Prof Tom. I'm here with a student of mine, Gary. Gary is the man that's making these videos actually look nice these days, so you can thank him for that. And we're going to have a look at the Darce. I made a video on the Darce a while ago, and 140,000 people liked it. It had one of our most popular videos we've ever made, and I want to give you guys my current take on the Darce because that was filmed a long time ago. Let's have a look at my current take on the Darce. Let's look at ways in, let's look at variations out. Let's really give you enough ownership of this choke so that you can start to make use of it no matter where you are on the mat. Let's have a look at what it is. The Darce, if you're lying down here in side control, Gary, the Darce normally comes about when our opponent is on their side and we are on top here. So one of the first entrances I like to teach my students is simply from side control. Of course, Gary, being a good jiu-jitsu guy, is here, he's turning in, he's framing into me. Of course, what's he trying to do? A hip escape. So my hand's gonna come behind his head and one under his arm, okay? I'm trying to get my wristwatch in his armpit. Then I can connect my hands together. You'll notice that I've made a fist with my right hand. I don't want my fingers getting jammed because my right hand comes under his arm and under his head. So under the top arm, under the head, and then my left hand will grab it and I'm going to pinch my elbow in. The pinching of the elbow is very important because it's going to hold his head in enough for you to get your right hand through as far as it will go, okay? Once your right hand is through as far as it can go, you can now slide this hand down and get your Darce strangle. So my right hand is gripping my triceps and my left hand here, it doesn't seem like it's very important, but you do want to get this as high as you can. It's not in effect doing anything to his back, but what it is cinching the fulcrum. So I get that as high as I can, and for me guys, I always get to mount. So I'm now just going to step to mount. I don't care if my legs are entangled, and as I sprawl through his arm and squeeze, we get a tremendously efficient strangle, okay? You'll notice I balance on my head and pull my hands out. Why? Well, because you don't want to put the guy out. So I balance on your head, looking where you're posting, take your hands out, don't get back up on his neck and put all your 220 pounds through his neck and put him unconscious after he's tapped. Let's have a look at this Darce again. So as soon as Gary turns into me, he gives me an opportunity to get his head and his arm in like a miniature cradle. I call this a head and leg cradle. I would call this a head and arm cradle. From the head and arm cradle, it's about pulling my hands through as I pull his head in. There's many grips and variations for this that we can do it with. But ultimately, I want to get my right hand through and crunch his head in. So this one's going through and his head is going in. So once I've gripped him and I pull his head in and I get my right hand through, you'll notice I'm always trying to stuff his head. I can't let that go and then try to lock up. I have to keep it stuffed as I slide my elbow down to the mat and cinch up as high as I can. Once I've stepped over to mount here, if I want more power, I can start to pull my right elbow towards where my head is. So my right elbow gets pulled around on this arc, which drives the fulcrum into his neck, okay? So as I've locked my Darce choke here, as I get to the mount, my right elbow pulls around, and ultimately this is the part that's doing the lion's share of the choking. So half of the choke is happening on his carotid artery. This side, the carotid artery is taken care of by that front deltoid. So this front deltoid is going to push in, and my forearm here, my radius bone, is going to take care of the other one, okay? And as I pull that fulcrum through his neck, everything's going to cinch tight. So there's the basic guide to the Darce. Of course, if you get to mount and the choke comes out, no big deal, you're in mount. Congratulations. You distracted him enough that he didn't escape side control, lets you get to mount. That's a good move. Let's now have a look from different angles. How about he's in turtle? So Gary's in turtle. Sometimes guys are in turtle. Okay, there's lots of things. We can attack the legs, we can attack the back, we can attack the neck, and we can certainly attack the arms and shoulders. What we're going to do from this position is shoot the same head and arm cradle, okay, just like a wrestler's cradle. So I'm going to put my ear onto his back and I'm going to shoot my right hand through, okay? Once my thumb is on the nape of his neck, I can now put my left thumb between my right peace sign, okay? Hands go grip together, okay? This is a very efficient grip because it's very strong this way, but it still lets it tighten. So I'm going to push his head down and get my hand through. Again, always crunching the head down, trying to get our right arm through. Now, from this position, my left hand can come to here. Notice my left thumb goes into my right peace sign. And I grip. Now I'm going to pull his nose to my right knee, which rotates him down. And then I make sure I rotate so I'm at a 90-degree angle. I want to make sure our spines are perpendicular here. He's on his side, spine's perpendicular, just like when we did the first technique. And then from this position here, slide through, elbow goes to the floor, cinch it up tight, step over to mount, hips and weight through, sprawl and squeeze. Okay, amazingly strong choke. Let's have a look from some different positions now and give you some more entrances. If you're on your back, Gary, a lot of the time in mount, guys can really stay staunch, you know, they really don't want to be submitted, they stay in really tight. So one thing you can do is give them a little, okay? So a man that was very instrumental and still is in my jiu-jitsu journey, John Will, uses the term, sometimes, you know, you have to let the mouse run, you know, and I really like this concept, and I'm going to show you what I do to incite movement and a counter-attack on his behalf, and how we use it to then counter his counter with the Darce. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my right leg over his head, okay? What 9 out of 10 people are going to do is grab that leg and follow it across and try to push it off. Because as I go like this, he's like, oh my goodness, it's an opportunity. So as he does this, my right hand slides in, I turn the corner, and I have my Darce. This is actually very easy. It may seem complicated, it's absolutely not. Let's do a few at speed so you can see. As I bring this over like this, as he follows it, I'm just here. And once I've got my Darce, I can finish from mount. Again, as my right leg comes over, I feed through, I get my grip, I can crunch him in, I adjust, I get to mount, I get my finish, okay? Another wonderful one. One that I use a lot is if he's in my guard, especially my butterfly guard, as people, especially people that choose to keep their head low, often to protect their legs, I like to arm drag. And then my hand comes up here, okay? It's very risk-free. So I'm here, I've arm dragged him through, and my left hand comes up, okay? Once I've got the left hand up, I'm trying to get my left hand through, and now I just got to do what? Crunch his head down. How do I do that? With my elbow. I lock off and get my hand as high up as I can, and now I'm going to roll him to this side. I have his right arm trapped, so I'm going to roll him over his right shoulder because that's where he doesn't have a post. So I move my hips in, look where I'm rolling, he flips onto his side, and then I just walk in, get to mount, and get my finish. Okay? So, that's one of the easiest ways. From the bottom, arm drag, hit that move. You can even do it from side control. You can do it from many different positions, but the Darce works very well. One position that you can have some fun, especially letting the mouse run because you get to really watch it happen, is when you're in knee ride. So if Gary's on his back and I'm in knee ride, you know what most people are going to look to do? They're going to look to push you off, start hipping out like this. So it gives you that catch. Again, ultimately, we want the catch. If we can get the head and arm cradle, that's the terminology I use, we can ultimately turn it into either a Darce or an anaconda choke, okay? So when I've got him and I've got the head and arm this way, Some guys will try to stop your right arm from going through. Okay, so I've got him like this and I can't go through. But if you can't go through this way, almost certainly we can go through the other way. So by holding my hands and rocking back and forth like I'm rocking a baby here, I can put him in the anaconda. Okay, so from this position, if I go this way, I've got my Darce. If I go this way, I've got my anaconda. I walk in, crunch his head in. I like to try to tangle his legs, and then I'll bridge as I squeeze. Okay? Here. With the anaconda, you can pull the elbow to really amplify force. I prefer to just get the squeeze with it. I like to be somewhat gentle with the anaconda because it crunches guys' necks up. Let's have a look at that anaconda Darce connection just so you're aware of it again. Anytime he's here, I've got the head and arm, okay? If I go this way, I've got my Darce. If I go the other way, I've got my anaconda. You can see me using my thigh to hold his tricep down. But understand that once I have this head and arm, if he got to his knees, right, I'd have my head and arm guillotine. Okay, so I'll drive my elbow in, get that choke, okay? All of these moves all go in together. We could do a north-south arm in choke. There's many, many, many more. But ultimately, if I can just get a head and an arm together, there will be trouble, okay? Sometimes the head and the arm that you'll get will be from north-south. So if I've got Gary here and he's on his knees, say shot him from my legs and I've sprawled here. So I've got the head and arm. I can put my elbow to the floor, run his elbow away, and then roll through. Once I'm up to my knees, he's on his side, our spines are in the perpendicular position. I can choose to go for Darce or anaconda if I wish. I prefer Darce because I feel the Darce brings more upper body control. So from here, I will go for my Darce straight away, okay? So don't forget, you can roll people and go for those Darces, all right? But don't forget, you can just let people out, even in side control. If he's in my side control position, something that you can do sometimes, especially if you like to work with the elbow push escape, is if you can get his elbow across and you can start framing with your elbow and scooting back like this, you can get good escapes. But he's always looking to wing that hand back around and put you down. So as you're pushing this, if I see his head move towards me, right, I can grab it. And now same as before, left elbow down, grab. Roll him onto the posting area, try to hook a leg or get to mount, and now squeeze through. Okay, so there you go, guys. A whole bunch of little things. You can do different variations, but ultimately the Darce is one of the most versatile chokes around. I think for me, looking at the Darce strangle, you can just do it from so many areas and you can recycle it. So if you have a Darce and you can't get the finish, you can use it to turn them over. You can use it to get to mount. You can use it to pass guards. There's a lot of things you can do with the Darce. So I urge you guys all to use it, because the more you use it, the less you'll get caught in it. You understand the game. So have a look. There's plenty of amazing guys at the high levels that use the Darce choke. Arguably, I think it's one of the best moves, in particular for like lanky grapplers in particular. I think lanky grapplers are like tricky guys, real technical guys, because you can really bait people in. It's not a real dominant position, it's a real baited position a lot of the time. So some of the best guys at Darce chokes like Jeff Glover and people like that really play a playful style, which can be very appealing to a lot of people. So if that sounds like you, or you're a lanky guy or a lighter guy or girl, maybe have a look at the Darce choke. Certainly having long arms helps lock it up. Although there are plenty of variations for those with small arms. So if you have short arms, when you go through, sometimes you can't grip onto your own bicep like this. But what you can do is grip onto your own forearm and still crank it up. Short arm Darce is the terminology I would use to refer to that. And in the gi, you can grab onto your, like I'll grab onto my arm hair here, but you can grab onto your gi and do the same choke, okay? So get used to it. And the better you get at grabbing a head and arm, the closer you'll come to your finishes. Whether it's guillotines, arm in guillotines, or whether it's arm out guillotines or darces or anacondas or katagatami chokes, there's just so many different variations. But if you can get used to grabbing a head and arm, that will give you the ticket to go for them, which is of course your ticket to learn and master them. So happy darcing, guys. That's my current take on Darce. I love Darces. I've used them in competition. I use them in training all the time. I really hope you guys enjoy them as much as I do. So thanks, guys. Peace.